So I talked about my entrepreneur, and please don't feel that you have to. The first thing I told myself, which is going to be, apart from people that have been applying before, if you're just applying for the first time, you need to tell yourself, I can do this. I think that was until I told myself that night, I said, Uduak, what is your challenge? You can do this thing, just do it. It was not even win. I didn't feel that form with the intention I was going to win. I didn't even see myself winning. I just told myself, Uduak, for the first time, fill a grant form and see what is the experience like, you understand? So I want us to have that mindset that we can do it. So I talked about my journey into entrepreneurship. So I know a lot of us have that story. Why did you start your business? So I wrote it out there. So it's not that the bio, I don't say I was born here. So I just did my first introduction, my name and what I studied in university, my journey into entrepreneurship, which talked about the challenge. My colleague complained about having good oil, so I talked about it there. Then I found out the frequency of this situation was increasing, and this was due to a gap created as a result of the ban on imported palm oil and the greed of local vendors who were out to make quick money. So I sell palm oil and spices, but I started with palm oil. That's my core. So I told the story of why I started, that this was the problem that I found out in the society, that people were having issues with getting good quality palm oil. So I now went further. I did not stop there. So because you need to make the person reviewing say that, oh, this person has this passion for her business. This person knows what she's doing. So, and if there's anything I want you to, you also have to be truthful. Just be truthful. You don't need to start fabricating what is not, what you are not doing. I always tell people that when you're truthful, it's easy, you remember. I guess when you lie, when they now call you, because they will call you to reveal all those things. If you lie, you will not remember. So even if it is a little impact you have, just say it. You should just be truthful. So I said, out of concern, I took a trip to my village in Akwa Ibom to find out how I could get quality palm oil. I registered for an internship with a medium-scale processing company to learn how to process good palm oil and recognize between original and adulterated palm oil. After my internship, I founded my business on a small scale. In 2019, I took a step further. You can see that from that bio, I talked about the problem why I started my business. Then I also talked about the steps I took. So on there, I feel that the person reviewing is like, this person did not just say, I want to start selling palm oil. This person wanted more out of palm oil. For me to have taken a step to the village, a trip to the village, to go and learn how to do palm oil, to see what is processed. I now went for another training again, you see. So I mentioned it there that I enrolled to the Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research located in Benin to gain more knowledge on how to start a medium-scale processing mill. Setting up a medium-sized mill is capital intensive with this ground. So after I talked about the step, you remember I talked about myself, introduction, my certification, and I talked about the problem. And now, so even after I identified this problem, I went a step further to go for internship. Then I now went for training. You see, then I now brought it back again. I now said, setting up a medium-sized mill is capital intensive. With this grant, I'll be able to purchase some of the processing equipment I'll need to start up the medium-scale processing mill, which will produce 0.5 tons FFB per hour fresh fruit and create employment for women and youth in the host community. So after I introduced the problem, I introduced the steps that I took. I talked about the training that I went to. Then I now came back again in another paragraph to say that with this grant, I will be able to buy this equipment. Because one of the things I noticed from this grant was that your ability to talk about impact. And that's one of the things, the first outreach I did was as a result of what Inya taught us then. I didn't really understand why she was always talking about impact, impact, impact. Our business is beyond us. What can you do for the community? What can you do for the women? You get. So I mentioned it there that with this grant, I'll be able to purchase this equipment. And you see what I wrote there. I said, which will produce 0.5 tons FFB per hour. That means I know everything about the equipment. I know what it could produce. So I was not saying it that I was guessing or I went to Google to find it out. because I've been involved in this process, so I know all those things. And create employment for women and youth. So they want, like here taught us about impact, that your business, they always want to know that your business will be able to impact your community. It will be able to impact the women. It's going, especially the women, emphasis on the women and the community, the youth there. So at the end of it, I said it will also create employment, because having that meal will create employment for women in the community, even the youth. So that's where, and I said, Uduak worked at African Energy Services between this and this before moving into entrepreneurship. So that is how I ended my bio. Are we following? Are we following? Do you want me to do a recap? Should I? Okay, so let me quickly do a recap. Okay, so I talked about the bio, brief bio, which I talked about myself, my qualification. I talked about my journey. So you could just do it, introduction, yourself, your certification, your journey into entrepreneurship, the problem that you saw, then the training, if you've attended any training, the steps you've taken so far for your business, you just list it there. Then towards the end, I talked about the impact, what I was going to use the grants for, and the community I was going to impact. So the second part 3 is venture information, which talks about your vision statement. I believe we all have vision statements. That's almost like your why. Then the B part talks about history. So I'll just read it. I said, my journey into entrepreneurship started in 2019, not thinking of profit, but how to make sure consumers had access to quality. So you can see that this is what happened. When I started my business, I did not know anything about profit, but I was just happy that someone was telling me that your palm oil is very good. I've never seen this type of palm oil. So it's basically talking about your startup story. Your story will, that's why they'll say your story will always connect more. So even when you are talking about it's easier because it's your business, you started it, so you can easily tell a story about it. If you wake me up at night, no matter how deep I am in sleep, I will tell you how I started my business and why I started it. So this one, that section talks about history. So there was always this huge smile when I get testimonials from customers who say, Uduak, I've never started a good palm oil like yours. So I now said, gradually we grew and the customers started asking us for spices. So at this point, we could also talk about your growth. You can also talk about your growth. So I talked about the history, how I started again, this one in a different segment now. Then I said, gradually we grew and customers started asking us for spices. And from that feedback, we were able to launch a range of spices. Then I went to another paragraph. I said, the opportunity to make available to consumers unadulterated palm oil and spices has been a source of strength for us. So you can decide to bring in your strength. What is your own strength for your own products, for what you do? Positive feedback from customers on the quality of our product has kept us going. And trainings on entrepreneurship, like the one provided by Our Way, has provided me with the needed knowledge on how to grow a profitable business. So try to bring in back the impact of Our Way to you. What have you learned? Like during the Dream Builders course, that is when I don't think I've ever done, not that I don't think, I've never done a SWOT analysis. It was during Dream Builder that I sat down and I told myself, Uduak, you have to do this thing. That's checking your strength, your opportunities from your competitors and all that. So you can bring in, that is why I brought in this space I wrote here now. I said, and trainings on entrepreneurship, like the one provided by Our Way, has provided me with the needed knowledge on how to grow a profitable business. We have learned from our mistakes and used them as a bedrock for improvements. So you can see that I was able to integrate back the impact of the training into the form. So it's not that I just came for that training, but there's something that I took out of that training and has really impacted my business. So in the last paragraph in that session, I said I started the business with 15,000 Naira in 2018. I started the business with 15,000. So you can decide whatever it is that you started with, you can put it there. That's why I'm reading my own. I started my business with 15,000 in 2018, and our annual revenue for 2022 was 21M. We have grown our customer base to over. So this last paragraph, I basically talked about our growth. We have grown our customer base to over 2,005. All sizes of our product are NAFDAC certified. So if you have some certifications, you can decide to bring it in at that last paragraph. We have distributors across Nigeria, UK, US. We also have our product registered on online stores like Jumia. We have established our brand presence. So this is basically talking about your own achievements. So I feel that when the people that did the review, when they looked at this form, they're like, oh, okay, this lady has also gone a step further. She's not just sitting there and saying, I'm selling this. She also took that step further to, she has her product listed, her products are NAFDAC certified, or whatever certification applies to your own product or service, or she has done this. I can see that your numbers. So even if you don't have your exact number, I was able to have this number because subsequently along there, I started keeping very good records. I tried to keep good records. So you can, even if you don't have exact, at least you have, because at the long run, they will call. When they call and ask you, if it's a number that you faked, you won't remember. You get. So that's why I talked about being sincere from inception with your details or whatever you're putting in there. We have established our presence online through social media, where over 90% of our orders are taken from. We have increased our staff strength from 1. So maybe you started alone. You can also put it there. Also put it there. We have increased our staff strength from 1 in 2019 to 10 staff as at March 2021. Are we following? Please let me know. If I'm too fast, let me know. Are we here? Oh, say we know the slave. We are here. We are here. Okay. I'll see somebody from my state. It's a road there. I'll see plenty of Kwabo people here. We are gonna collect this grant. Okay. Okay, so remember, this is the second part now. Venture information. I talked about the history. I started the opportunity. Then I talked about how much I started my business with, the turnover. Because I think one of the things they look out for during grant too is your data, your ability to get to know your numbers is also very important. So see what will be the primary products or services you produce. So there I listed all our products. Our products include palm oil, spices, salad, barbecue. Then we intend to also provide palm oil in sachet forms. And I talked about, maybe you have other products that you want to introduce. Then you talk about why you want to introduce maybe a smaller version of your product, maybe for the low income earners you get. So that's it. Okay, part 4, your proposal, which is the problem. So I'll just read mine so that you can now put it back into your own. The problem: 70% of the palm oil sold in the open market in Nigeria are adulterated with chemicals, which is hazardous to health. In the open market in Lagos, you constantly see the adulteration of palm oil done in the open market. You should be able to identify what is that core problem. That core problem, if you're a product business or a service business, what is that core problem? Me, I know that the problem we have in oil is adulteration. Is a major problem. So I was able to specifically state it there. The consumers are not able to identify. So you can see that apart from stating what the problem is, I was also able to think about my customers, think about the people that are having that challenge, which are the consumers. A lot of them don't know how to identify good palm oil. So I did not just talk about the problem. So the way I talked about the problem here is I made them understand that apart from this problem, I also know that this is the problem my customers are having, which are the consumers. So I said the consumers are not able to identify which palm oil is adulterated. Research in Nigeria has it that some cases of cancer, and that's why I talked about research, data. If you can have those data, so this is based on the research that was done, that I learned when I was at NIFO. The research in Nigeria has it that some cases of cancer have been traced to the consumption of adulterated palm oil. Some palm oil processing mill, as well as middlemen, add some chemical. You have to be that detailed. So I was that detailed that, okay, this is not just a problem. So how this problem that we are talking about concerning you now, concerning that product, sorry, how did it even start? How does it happen? So I was able to say here that some of the middlemen add some chemicals to increase the quantity of palm oil because of greed. So this thing is not, what I realized from Awe was that they're not looking for big drama. Because if they are looking for big grammar like this, someone like me now, I will not, they won't even shortlist my name. So I just say, if you're listening, just say that just simple English. But what is important is that I was hitting those points very well. Some palm oil processing mill, as well as middlemen, add some chemical to increase the quantity of palm oil because of greed. We will be saving 80% of consumers. You see where data comes again. You have to know your data very well. We will be saving 80% of consumers there. I did not say 100 because I don't know if I'll be able to reach 100, but at least 80% of consumers directly in Nigeria from consuming this adulterated palm oil, which will also reduce the number of cancer patients which we have presently. So I did not just identify the problem. Remember, I identified how my customers are being affected by this problem. And I also identify how they will be able to overcome this particular problem. I also said that 60% of women and youth in the host community, remember talking about impact, I said Ian taught me impact to community and to women. So I still, under that problem, I still brought back that impact. So I said 60% of women and youth in the host community will be employed and trained as operators of the milling machines. 60% of men and women in the host community will be employed. So apart from that problem, as a result of this problem, look at the people in this community, they are going to be impacted. Is it the people in the neighborhood? Is it your staff? Wherever it is, you have to state it there. Will be employed and trained as operators of the milling machine. 100% of the palm fruit for processing will be purchased from the community, thereby increasing their standard of living. So you see that from that problem, I talked about the problem, the effect it has on the consumer. Then I brought it back again. And I said that with this problem now, when we have the solution that 60% of the women and the youth in the community will be employed. Then apart from that, all the fruits that we are going to be getting for processing is going to come from that same community, which is going to create employment. All right.
We lost you for a second. I think a call came through for you.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so let me just recap again. So part 4 talks about your proposal. And the A part says problem. So I talked about having your data. 70%, don't just say the people in the community. Try to get an estimate. It does that like 70%, 50%, is it 20%, is it 10%? Try to have that data. So I said the problem, 70% of the palm oil sold in the open market in Nigeria are adulterated. So I talked about the problem. Then I also talked about the effect of that problem on the consumers, which is my customer. That a lot of them don't know how to identify this thing. So we are going to be saving 80% of these consumers from consuming adulterated palm oil, which has also been identified as one of the causes of cancer. It's one, maybe because I'm reading it. I'm not even sure I wrote up to 200. I did not exceed whatever they told us, 200 words, 100 words is what I did. So maybe because I'm reading it, you now feel it's not much, it's the same words. And it's the same documents that I'm using. That's what I'm reading from.
I think you did 10 pages, is what you did for everything. Everything.
Yes, everything. I did not exceed, I did not add, I did not exceed anything. So we now talked about data again. We said we'll be saving 80% of consumers directly in Nigeria from consuming this adulterated palm oil. So you can also decide to put in location so that they know that, oh, this person knows where her customers are. She knows her customer segmentation, that this is where they are. 60% of women and youth in the host community will be employed and trained as operators of the milling machines. 100% of the palm fruit will also be purchased from the community, which will also increase their standard of living. You see how that problem, I talked about the problem, I talked about the effect of the problem on the consumer, which is also about their health also. And I talked about how we are going to help the women and the community. Then the solution. So I'm reading my own solution now. The establishment of our palm oil processing mill, which is what I talked about in the other paragraph, what I was going to use the grants for. The establishment of our palm oil processing mill in Ibiono. I was specific in the local government. They want you to be that detailed. The local government and the state will solve the challenge of palm oil adulteration, as 90% of Nigerians consume palm oil. So you want to go back and check your data again, that this product that you're doing, this service that you're doing, what's the percentage of people that are using it? That data will also help you a lot. Are you not aware? Yeah. So as we will process, package, seal, distribute directly to the consumers and wholesalers. So I also brought in like 30%, I said 30% of Nigerians in diaspora, countries like US, UK, and Canada, will have access to quality palm oil. As research shows, getting good palm oil, research, you can see that I'm bringing in research. Research shows that getting good palm oil in those countries poses a major challenge. So because I've been able to identify my market, I know that a lot of people outside Nigeria are always complaining that it's so difficult to get good palm oil. So you're not going to throw away those information that you feel that is not important. No, you are going to bring it into this application. So I brought that in also. Then I talked about the sachet machine, which will enable us to make palm oil in sachet, which will make it affordable for low-income earners. And I talked about the mill, which is sited in the rural community, will make jobs available for youth and women and youth in the community, as that will be our quota to put together also a cooperative for the women. So impact, impact, impact. So the solution that you're bringing is not just for your own business and the growth of your business, you're also thinking of the other people. How are they going to benefit from this grant when you get it? So I talked about the siting of the mill in Ibionibo will create a source of income for the women, as palm fruit will be bought off the women who are harvesters for processing. 10% of female owners who sell foodstuff online and offline will be educated on how to identify adulterated palm oil and how to profit from it as a business. In the host community, basic social amenities like potable water, medical checkups will be made available. So you have to be that detailed with your solution. So the solution, and you see that apart from me talking about helping the consumers to get good quality palm oil, and I brought it back to the community. Because for our, they don't want it to be all about you. They don't want it to be all about you. You get, they also want you to know that, okay, from this thing that you're going to do, the community will also be impacted. So you have to bring that into your solution. Let me take the solution part again. So I said the establishment of our palm oil processing mill in Ibrahim local government in Akwa Ibom. So I did not just say the establishment of our palm oil process. I was very detailed. The local government and the state will solve the challenge of palm oil adulteration, as 90% of Nigerians consume palm oil. As we will process, package, seal, distribute directly to the consumers and wholesalers. So you can bring that, this part of mine now, you can bring your own business into it. 30% of Nigerians in diaspora, countries like United, so your own might not be diaspora, your own might be rural communities, your own might be other states. You could be just where you are, but you just have to specify that. So I said this, okay, we have access to quality palm oil. As research shows, getting good quality palm oil in those countries pose a major challenge. The sachet machine will enable us to make palm oil in sachet, which will be affordable for low-income earners here in Nigeria. The mill, which is sited in the rural community, so always remember to bring it back. Remember to bring it back to the impacts that you're creating. Don't forget that it's not all about you now. There's also the impact that you're creating in your community. So I talked about cooperatives, I talked about employment, and I talked about educating the people about good and adulterated palm oil. I talked about making provision for basic amenities like water, medicals, and all that. So C, expected outcome. Expected outcome. So from that grant that we are going to get, so I said, Uduak medium palm oil processing mill will process 0.5 tons of FFB, fresh fruit bunch, for packaging and onward distribution to consumer. Number of employees will increase from 10 full-time employees to 14 full-time employees. Annual sales revenue will increase by 50%. You can see what I talked about data. 50 women in the community will be trained on best practice for palm oil processing and equipment maintenance. 80% of palm fruit suppliers will be women. This will enhance their standard of living. A cooperative for women will be established in the community to educate and encourage financial savings culture among them. Then the launch of this sachet palm oil into the market will enable low-income earners access to quality palm oil. Expected outcome talks about the impact that your product, that this expansion you're going to use the grant for, maybe not expansion or startup, is going to have. So I'm going to recap my own expected outcome. You see, when I talked about data, I have my own data. I said Uduak medium palm oil processing mill will process 0.5 tons of FFB, which is fresh fruit bunch, for packaging and onward distribution to consumers. The number of our employees will increase. That means I've been able to employ more people. You get 50% of 50 women in the community will be trained. So are you going to train SSC? Are you going to train youth corpers? Your own might not be in the village like mine. So you're going to put that together. 6-month work plan. The D part. 6-month work plan. So it says provide a work plan for a month-by-month plan for the 6 months for your business. So this one will not also just be helpful for you during the application, even after for your own business outside our way. So I said August 2021, launch of our website. So this really guided us to launch it pushed me to launch our website, even when I was dragged out, because I wrote it here. So I had to push for it. So I said September 2021, purchase of land in Uduak in preparation for the palm oil processing mill setup. I said October 2021, acquisition of equipment and setup of palm oil processing in Uduak. October 2021, we train the operators on how to use. So it's basically talking about the month-by-month plan, so that it stands as a guide. So I said October 2021 also will assist women to form and legally register a cooperative society. November 2021, we train women on palm oil processing and equipment. That same November, ongoing production of palm oil, marketing and sales activities. December, the same thing. December again, have a product for wholesalers. Then I talked in January also, we talked about getting our product display in supermarkets. So it's like a step-by-step growth guide. So a 6-month work plan. This was our own 6-month work plan from April up to January 2022. Are we following? Did you plan from the date you applied or start planning? No, not from the date I applied. I just wrote it down that, oh, if this grant comes out, it was August 2021. So I just started with that date. Are we following? Sorry, I'm trying to read the comment chat box.
I can help with the comments if that's okay, so that you're not that distracted.
Okay.
Yeah, I can help.
So someone said I should talk about the work plan again. So I just used that date, August 2021, that I was going to get that grant. So I was being realistic. So I used August 2021.
Yeah. So you see this question, sorry, did you plan from the date you applied, or you start planning for about 3 months after the grants to give you room for the approval process? It's a very important question, because I don't know if you went through it during your time, Uduak, but it took a while before they responded. So yes, people assume that immediately the grant is sent, they will just respond immediately. Sometimes it takes up to 9 months before you get that money. So it's good that you factor. I'm not sure how long yours took from the time you applied.
It took like 6 months. You know, my own too was also, I had extra delays too.
Yes. Yeah.
So I
It may
just
take a while.
used from that date, August,
Mm.
and I planned down.
Okay. All right.
Because
Sounds
I know then during one of the sessions, you told us that the grant might come in so time.
yes.
So it was
Yeah.
that I used that as a benchmark.
As a
That
benchmark
was what
for
I
it.
did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Please, you can continue.
Okay. So the 6-month work plan is like a guide. Nobody's imposing anything on you. They're not sure. It's like I said here, August 2021, I said we'll launch our website. 2020 September, we'll go and purchase the land. October, we'll acquire the equipment. Of that same October, because immediately you acquire the equipment, they'll send people to come and train the staff. Ongoing production of palm oil, marketing and sales activities. Then November, train women on the palm oil processing and equipment maintenance. November, ongoing production on. So it doesn't mean you should just bombard. If you notice, I didn't stretch write the things that I know I was not going to be able to achieve. So I just wrote it the way it was. Sales, marketing, production. Okay, so part 5 talks about.
Sorry, people are asking about the dates. Go with your mind. She's just telling you what she did. Whenever you don't base it on the time she started or how she planned. Go with your own timing in that way, because I don't want people to say, oh, Uduak advised us to start from this date or whatever. Please, she's just giving you her example of what she did and telling you what she did. So if it's 6 months, I just know that usually they answer us within 6 months or so is when they come back in. Of course, the time can be adjusted. It's not very strict to say, oh yeah, it has to be 6 months. So Uduak is just saying she used the timing that she used helped. Damilola wants to say something. Sorry, maybe she wants to say something about the timing.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Uduak, nice to see your face.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to contribute to these work plan dates thing. I remember that after we have submitted ours, they actually came back and told us to, at least I don't know, maybe it happened to you, Uduak, but they told me to send a new work plan with a new dates. So just give something that represents what you want to do. You can put whatever they don't try to be realistic, but you can put, if you're doing the application now, just have maybe like a time frame of like maybe 3 months. But at the time they're actually getting back to you, they will tell you to give an updated work plan. So now at that time, what is going to be changing mainly is not what you have actually written, but the dates. So don't overthink those dates.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
Don't overthink the date at all. Just put something you think, okay, maybe within 3 months or 6 months. I don't think we should put it too far. Maybe just put like within 3 months, to start within 3 months. But at that time, you just give an updated work plan with a new realistic date that is close to when they want to disburse to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll still bring you back on.
Yes, Dr. Yeah, right here.
So I think one of the most important things is also to, apart from the dates, hammering on the dates, have your own workout plan. That no matter whatever time it comes, this is your plan, that this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to do. Someone is asking that, my question is, before writing all of this, has research been done before you write this much on the application? Honestly, because it's my business, I already had my own data. So maybe I just checked. The only thing I was checking was the number of women in the community, how many families are there, it's a village, how many, but for every other data, it's a data I've always had for my business, so it was easy to take on. Okay, so venture details, employees and beneficiaries. So here, this one is the number of paid employees. As at that time, we had 4 male, 6 female, which was 10. The number of customers or beneficiaries. Sorry, number of customers. That mine is not beneficiary. Mine was number of customers. So because I have a good base of my customer. It was not difficult. So I was able to know how many male, how many female. So all you need to do is to put it there. Then ownership structure, I put in my own ownership structure, which 80% is owned by me. Then the other part to the other partner. Then current financial situation, equipment. So these are all the informations that we keep. When we buy equipment, we know how much it is. Our own equipment, dispatch bikes, I wrote it down there. So that's basically it. Do you have any questions? Should I recap from the beginning again? Any question?
Yeah, I have a hand up. I'll just unmute. Jibola, please go on. Unmute, Jibola.
Okay, I'm done. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Okay. Yeah, so my question is, because I see a lot of similarities in your project and my project. Now, my question is, this land that you went to, the farm and everything, have you done all this before you got the application? Or within a short time frame of 1 week? Okay.
No, I had all my information because it's a plan I had.
Okay.
And I've always had the information. It's a plan I had.
All right. That's just my question. Thank you.
Yeah, the question about CBN rate. Yes, use CBN rate. That's the rate, right? Uduak, you guys use CBN rate.
Yes, CBN.
It's CBN rates. Rachel, please unmute and ask your question.
Okay, good morning. Thank you, Diffuse. I appreciate you. Okay, yeah. Okay, my question is this, like us now, that you already have a hub that you want to just get some processing and packaging equipment too. So how about that? You already have a place of your own and you have a hub, an existing hub. But the only thing is that you need to extend to make more impact, to get more people, more entrepreneurs who wants to be coming for maybe drying and packaging.
So what's the question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the question? So what you're saying is you are doing expansion, Rachel. I think that's what you're trying to say. You already have a hub, right?
Yes.
So what you want to do is expansion. So if that's what you're doing, you need to make a case for expanding.
Right, the expansion. What further impact will you make?
Okay.
For that expansion, what will it add to you? Will your consumers benefit from it? Will the community benefit from it? Yes, so you're just bringing in the impact. So if you're expanding, is it going to increase your production? Okay. Will you be able to attend to more customers? Will more consumers benefit from your products? Will there be larger distribution channels?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, question from, okay, it's not a question. It says, Lady Udi, thank you very much. You've demystified this application. Plenty love always. Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Lucia.
Gloria, you have a question.
Yes, good morning, and thank you so much for agreeing to share with us. Really appreciate you. My question is, some grants, they would basically say do not put request for equipment or for land or for offices, but hearing you say you actually said you wanted to acquire a land and it was approved. So does that mean that we can actually say we want to buy equipment, we want to buy an office or rent an office?
Yes. I think for me, our grant is one of that grant that take cognizance for startup entrepreneurs. Okay. I was very explicit because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't tell them I already had that because I didn't have. So that was not a knockoff at all. And I'm sure that also added to points.
Okay, thank you.
Because it was not, because if it was an issue, I'm sure I wouldn't have been shortlisted.
No, it's not an issue.
It's not an issue.
Not an issue at all. It's whatever you need to improve. That's what it is. Yeah. Please don't bring any SAM or UEI question here. That's not what this session is for, please. let's just keep that to the groups because it has nothing to do with, they were not even, your DUNS number was sufficient, right, UD, during your time?
Yes.
Yeah, they were using DUNS, so there was no UEI, at that time. Please, let's not ask that question here. Talks, please go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks again for your time this morning. My question is, if you already have an existing business, right, and we've seen that there's a need for one of our items that we want to now start manufacturing, can we add it? Is it advisable to add it onto the business that we do within this application, or should we do it as a new business?
Is it part of your ongoing business? Is it like
So
an addition?
we use the ingredients, but what we notice is that because we import this ingredient, but we can actually manufacture it locally ourselves. So what we're trying to say is that we need it for our business, but we've also identified other businesses, other industries that would benefit from a locally produced, from this locally produced item, right? Which is why, and we've done it, we've been manufacturing a little bit, but it's just in-house. So we need funding so that we can actually do it on a bigger scale and do it better. So that's why but I'm not sure if it's something I should add or something I should just bring in as something new.
So if it is part of your ongoing business, I think you should add it and talk about the benefits, except it is not directly related to that your present business.
No, it is an ingredient. It is a core ingredient.
So it's expansion, Talks. It's expansion.
So it's part of the business.
Yeah, it's part of your business's expansion. So it makes a lot of sense. You are even bringing value by producing that local, making that product for your own benefit and the benefit of other people. So just so I clarify, they're not asking anyone to come up with a new business idea. It's what you Uduak did was expansion as well, right? You were already doing palm oil business. What you wanted was to take it further, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Does that answer your question, Talks?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's great.
No
Thank you so much.
All right. Ifelua, please unmute and ask your question.
Thank you, Ma. Good morning, Ma.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Ma. Please, I want to ask a question about, I have an orb, but it was given to us by Syngenta Foundation. So I want to know if I can mention that orb, because I'm a network manager for Oyo and Osun State, for Oyo and Ogun State, wherein the farmers, the greenhouse is built for farmers to come and buy seedlings. Then the aggregation point center is for them to bring all their produce for sales. Now, if any of my network, my orb manager cannot sell the aggregated produce, I'm the one to sell for them. So I had already had a thought that, okay, I need a solar dryer or something, a bigger one to dry even tomato to process them. So I want to know that in this type of grants, can I mention that Syngenta Foundation already done something for us? So I need an expansion of it.
I think you can. You can, because at the point in the grant, there was a time they called and asked if I had gotten any other grants. If I had gotten any previous grant, I said no, because I'd never gotten. So if you have something that will now convince them to say, oh, okay, this person has already had this, so having this grant is going to help her expand further, then I think you should. But okay, I think Damilola can help expatiate on that. Because I know she had something, a project similar to that.
Solar Queen, are you there? Do you want to add to this answer?
Yeah, can you please recap the question? I wasn't listening very well when she asked that question.
Also, she was saying that she got help with or she has some sort of partnership with a government body that has given her access to a hub. Is that what you said? Or do you want to recap? And she's asking if she can mention it, basically, in her grant. I think it's a yes. I mean, I also think, yeah, you should mention it.
Anything you've done before, it gives you like credibility. So if you have anything that you've won before, you've gotten grants before, you have access to some technical assistance, please do put it in your application. I was going to mention some of these in my application, because in my application, I was able to highlight some things that I've gotten before the USADF or before the our USADF one. So
Yeah,
I think
because you already had a USADF grant, in
yes.
fact. Yeah. Mhm.
So I'll highlight more during my own presentation.
Okay. All right. Latifa, please, your question. I have 3 more hands up. Uduak would need to go because she has something to do this morning. So I'll take the 3 hands up and then we'll move to Dami. Mhm.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this information. Please, I just want to ask, from the eligibility criteria, it was said that people that work with federal, state, or local government or local government should not apply. I want to know, is it with the US government or with the Nigerian government?
It's the Nigerian government.
Wow.
Are you employed by them?
Yes, I'm a civil servant.
Okay, so you can't apply. You can't apply.
Apply.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and they will know if you apply.
Yes, I won't bother to.
Okay.
But it's good I learned this. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Ogechi, you're next, please. Go on.
Good morning, Udi Foods. Thank you for
ma'am.
having us today. So my question is this: from every single thing you told us, from the introduction to the history to the problem, I found out that some of them kept recurring, like while you were talking about the impacts, the problems and everything, like it kept on coming up over and over and over. Is it okay for us to also get to repeat? Like you talked about the history, how you talked about the problems and what you were trying to do. Same thing in the problem. You kind of gave a summary of everything you were trying to do. Same thing under the proposal and all that. So is it okay for us to talk about the impact of what we're trying to do, like keep repeating it over and over?
If you notice what I did, like I said, from the history to the introduction, I kept bringing it in because for me, what I've noticed from Ian's session with us, where we had our session, was impact. So it's not, maybe because I like keeping things very simple, but I didn't want to go out of what I was confident and I knew about. So I just positioned and left it there. And if there was any challenge with it, I'm not sure I would have been shortlisted.
Yeah, but
Okay.
to add to what you've answered,
well, it's not as if
exactly, that's what I wanted to point out. So
you can't just be putting in
explaining as well.
The way I was explaining, yes, exactly.
She's explaining. So some of the things she's repeating, keep your paragraph to your paragraph. If they're asking you about what you've done, keep it to what you've done. Some of the things Uduak repeated was just her saying, oh, I did this, and she goes back to what she had said before, that remember what I had said before. Do you understand? So it's not necessarily you repeating. If you repeat, no reviewer would not like you. So just if you're focusing on impact, whatever you're saying, let's focus on that topic. Yeah. So impact, when it comes to experience, she talked about, oh, as my experience, I went to part of my research, I went to this village to research, to find out why, to do this, to do that. When you leave that part and you're talking about your training afterwards, let it be focused on your training afterwards.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Yes.
Then for a business that is less than 2 years now, and presently we're trying to scale up into like a different branch of what we're doing. Currently we're into teaching children to read using animations and games. Now we want to scale into doing storytelling for children now. Now I'm looking at what we're going to call it the expansion aspect. Can we label it as that also?
Passion.
Yes, because we're trying to branch out into still under education, but we're also trying to do more work with children through storytelling.
So I think it's still the same thing. Just you're opening up a wider range of reach.
And bringing it back to the impact to the community, that's, I don't.
So I know someone that is into that also, but what she does is that she goes to the very local communities, the Ajebule, the other. So you now need to ask yourself, who am I impacting? Do you also do that? Because
yes, we do rural outreach, but in this case now we want to bring in want to do like a series for television for children.
Okay, so you can also bring that. So it's because it's your business. I don't know much about your business.
Yeah, I'm into production, so I can answer that question.
Okay.
So if you're doing this as a production where you want to involve children, so the animation, are you going to make it into a series that you'd eventually sell to maybe what's it called? What's the DSTV or something? Exactly. So do you have a deal with DSTV or any other ones before? Do you have
We're already in talks with them?
Okay, fantastic. So if you're in talks with them, you can add that there and say the next expansion project or the next big project you're doing as a company is to produce this content using or employing community children, you know, as voiceover artists, or you're going to take them on a journey where they are part of the production of this animation content, and you already have this deal, or you're in talks, you know, with this with DSTV or any of those ones for distribution. So you can mention that as well.
Okay.
Well, honestly, with your company, your track record is training people in animation. I think it would bring more value if you trained young people, let's say maybe out of school children. If you teach out of school children, not the little kids now, I'm talking about maybe from 16 up. If you teach them on how to use animation to gain employment, do you understand? A lot of people, I'm sure even us as entrepreneurs, if we find young people who are
rural areas,
exactly, if we find young people who are skilled at, you know, doing all this animation or animated content, you have an animated character for yourself. If you find a young person who can be doing that job, you know, at a reasonable rate, you hire that person. Yeah. So it could be a skill acquisition thing where these kids come to you, you train them, they intern with you for maybe 2 months or so. That way, at the time that they're interning with you, you are able to churn up production as well, you know, so they work with you as interns, but at the same time they gain the skill that they would have forever, and it would expose them to job opportunities. And in exchange as well, you can also hook them up with other women of AWE who need this service, you know, for them to get this done. That is more tangible in that sense.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do just that. Thank you very much, ma'am.
No problem. Juliet, you have the floor. Please unmute.
Okay, thank you so much, Obonge Town Crier. You have come this morning to blow your gong. Thank you so much. I think I got much clarity while you were talking, but I want to ask, you have your business in Lagos, but the impact is more like in the village, right? Yeah. So I'm looking, is it something, because we do financial literacy training for low-income schools in different parts of the country. We've done that this year when we got money from Access Bank to do it. So I'm looking at how do we now, you know, how do you marry having the company here and also the impact is done in the village? Because I was thinking, must it be in the area where the company is located that the impact should be felt? So do one need to pick a particular area where you do the impact?
So I think for me, I was very realistic, because the people in Lagos, there's nobody producing in Lagos. The main people working are the people in the village. They are the people that deserve the impact. For me, my own business. So I think you have to critically look at it. For me, I cannot come and, if I don't know what I'm going to impact in Lagos. So the main people, like, honestly, I learned impact from here. That's why I keep making reference to her. Is where you impact people and they feel it. So these people are the ones bringing in the palm fruits. They are the ones harvesting. They are the ones that don't have opportunities to the things some people in the city have. So that is why I base my impact there. I don't see anyone around here that are going to bake. So for me, it's always been in the village, the women there, the youths there, no food there, no water, no nothing, nothing is happening there. So that's how my own business is structured. The people that need that impact are those people in the village. So it now depends on you. Because I think for me, impact is something that they turn back and they see, oh, this thing never used to be here, but we are giving this person, they are giving to me, and I'm also giving back to them.
Okay, I think it works because your own is production.
Yes.
You know, you are producing, yes. But for us, what we intend having is to have an incubation hub. So I'm looking at out of school girls, because the hub for the profit aspect is we have children maybe after school or during the weekends, but we intend to turn the hub to for out of school girls to come in and get training, and you know, we also get employed as an intern in the hub. You know, we have other services we want to render in the hub while we make money from the kidpreneurs that come after school and during weekends, and especially during holidays. So I'm looking at impact is going to be in two ways. Maybe the ones that are coming into the hub, which is where the hub will be located, and also the one we've been doing before, which is financial literacy in low-income schools. So I don't know if that works.
I think it works because you know best how it will impact. So I think, but for me, I think that one works. For me, it works best in the community.
Okay.
But what majorly made for me the most important thing is that the people are feeling, they see that, no, this thing, there's a change. We are benefiting from this thing.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I had to mute. Often on a last question and then we'll go, all right? And we'll move to the next one. Please unmute.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Inya.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Uduak. It's nice to be a part of this. So I heard all you said, aside network throwing me out and bringing me back in. Now I thought to share light on how I'm looking at merging my application. I run a woodworking company that is strictly focused on illumination. I make wooden lamps. And sometime earlier this year or a few months back, I thought of making a collection that is sensitizing the public. Now, the story is the grassroots workers in Nigeria are not often valued, or people do not understand their value. But whereas they create the ground baseline for these things to happen. Now, grassroots workers I divided them into farmers, fishermen, traders, petty traders, and all. So I tried to see how I could marry my work and this together. And I came up with a collection that represents 5 different groups of these people in the grassroots and sensitizing. My hope is I'm using this collection to sensitize the public about them, to give them more value, to give them more awareness, and thereby I gave it a name, gave the name the indigenous people. And my application, I'm looking at putting it I'm from Akwa Ibom. So my thought is I would divide these collections into different pieces across the state, focusing on different local governments that this is their main source of work. I pushed hunting to Ikotikpene because Ikotikpene is known to hunt. They are hunters. So the design, the Hunter's Bow, so each of these designs have names. Now the Hunter's Bow represents the Ikotikpene people because they are hunters. So there are other local governments. Now the brown line to this question is, I'm trying to see how, aside making these pieces, because I can't give them these lamps. It would not make so much value to them if I make 1,000 pieces and then pick one pieces to these different 5 local governments. So I thought of doing a fundraising in view of this application. I would put it out there that aside the awareness I'm going to create through the process of this collection creation, I would do a fundraising and unveiling of the collection at some point in the course of this month. And whatever funds come out of these pieces, it will be given back to these communities that these designs represent. Now, this money, at first I thought about doing healthcare, but somehow healthcare is nice, but in a way it doesn't relate to what I do. And while you were speaking, I thought about doing forms of electricity. So if I pick Ikotekpeni now, I would find an area in Ikotekpeni that has issues with light. So in the process of this fundraising, this money that will be made from the lamps will be pushed into electrical help, how to give them maybe power or something. I don't know if that's a good angle I'm looking at. I asked to see what you think about it.
That would be a major impact for me also. So it will also be that then you could. I'm also thinking of training.
Yes, there's also training. There was also the part I had different aspects. I had the part where in the process of the collection, during the process of the collection creation, we would have prototype designs where we'd go to these local governments, we'd pick young people who are interested in craftsmanship in Akwa Ibom, because Akwa Ibom has really good crafters. We're good for woodworking, but
yes.
A lot of young people are not into it. We're not, especially the girls. It was strange for me when I said I wanted to do woodworking because people were laughing. You are quite bomb, baby, you want to do woodworking. So I'm looking at, during the process of that creation, we would also pick from schools in this local governments, these 5 local governments that the design will represent. We'll pick one school or pick a number of girls or boys and sensitize them on, or teach them, do a 1-week training on woodworking, the basic understanding of woodworking, how you can make creativity out of it, not just making it as a side hustle as our forefathers did it as carpentry, but creating something that outlives you. So there's also that plan. And then once the collection is done and we're about to unveil or launch, we will do the fundraising and auction. So the highest, we invite people from different walks of life, just so that aside them buying that piece as a lamp, it would be as a remembrance. Anybody who has that piece in their living room would always remember that the grassroots people of farming is the farmers in the village. If they don't farm, nothing would happen. The grassroots people of fish, we see fish in the market. If the fishermen don't go out, nobody eats fish. So anybody who buys this piece will be more like you are part of a movement. This morning I saw a research on how grassroots people are not paid well, they're not recognized. So my hope is this would be more like an awareness, sensitization, and then fundraising for the less beneficial areas. I don't know if that's a good
that'll be a great one. That'll be a great one. But you have to be able to break it down so that it fits that number of words for impact.
Okay.
So it's not taking, but it
too much.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Uduak.
Thank you
done
so
a
much.
whole 1 hour with us. Really, really appreciate you. And I see you're reading questions as well. I know someone used I think Udeme, Tolni Elumelu Grant Fund beneficiary. You haven't received the money. Last page reads, list major assets owned by the venture, all sources, amounts, and dates of any donor. If you haven't received a particular donation, you can't list it now.
Ignore it, yes.
Yeah, so you ignore it. Yeah. And
so the assets could be anything, your equipment, dispatch bags, your machineries. So those are basically it.
Yeah. Any other one? Disbursement, are they in trenches or one-off?
It came as one-off for me.
There's no mentorship attached to this one. There's nothing like that. What else? Empowers or intervention. You can empower. Okay, I think that's one. Receiving lots of grants impacts your chances. Does receiving lots of grants impact your chances? No, it doesn't. I mean, it just shows that people are seeing value in what you do and are giving you money. That's what it is. It does not. So whatever it is that you have received, you list it. See, when we're doing the review, we don't look at it and say, oh, this person has received so much, let's give the opportunity to another person. It is based on what your business needs, exactly. Impact, what your business needs on, and the criteria that, you know, we've written there as well. How you're able to make profit from these projects apart from the impact. Oh, she's advising someone. You need to point that out. I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good with the questions. Thank you so much, my darling sister. I'm so happy that each time I could call you. Like sometimes, do you know, I almost sent a message to everyone saying you would come, because in my mind, I'm like, you two would say yes, no problem. She'd say yes. Thank you so much. And that's why I never miss any of your gigs as well, because you always say yes to me. Thank you. And thanks for the value added. You have no idea what you've done for so many people here today, because you're not just talking about, this is not just going to help with the USADF application. This is going to help with all other applications that people, you know, put forward. And that's what I like about US applications. Like, it guides you for other applications to come, you know, as well. So thank you so much. God bless you, UD. Really appreciate you. I love you deeply. Like,
I love you, Mama.
Deeply, you know that.
You.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you. Thank you. You're an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma. I'll hang on and I'll be walking in between. So I'll listen to Dami too. She's a powerhouse.
Please. Yes, please.
Thank you so much. I also gained so much again today from you.
Honestly. Okay, so it's your show, Dami. Over to you, please. Everybody, welcome our solar queen, the best solar queen in the world, in the whole world, on planet Earth.
Yes.
Please go on, it's your show.
Okay,
wait, let me quickly say something. Okay, I said something about UD. Let me quickly say something about Dami. Dami is absolutely amazing when it comes to anyone. I mean, for UD as well. I think both of them, it's about pushing. They're consistent. These people are consistently pushing, and they're consistently gaining, you know, as well. For my parents' house, it was our solar queen that I went to do solar, also for my sister as well. So I can tell, you know, about her work ethics and skills and all that. And even recently when we had to what did we do again? I think we serviced it or something.
Yeah, we serviced it recently. So I'm trying to
exactly. For that as well, we always go to Dami. That's why we call her the solar queen, because we know she does it well. So over to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making it.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today. And my AWE sister is not AWE. My AWE sisters, welcome to AWE. And I believe I'm going to learn from you, and you're going to learn from me also today. So Udi has done a lot of justice to the application. And I think I'll just follow our footsteps. I'll run through my application also. But before I do that, I would like to mention that please, when you're doing your application, be as authentic as possible. Know what you want. Know what you want to do, because every application, yes, there is going to be a lot of similarities if you're going to be doing a very good application. When I'm sharing my application, you see that though Udi is in another industry, I am also in another industry. She's in the food industry. I am in the renewable energy industry. But yes, there are some similarities in steps for winning applications. But yes, it must be very, very authentic to what you are doing and to who you are. So for my application, I think I also submitted maybe close to the deadline, though it is not recommended that you should wait till that deadline. Please start building what you want to do right from now, especially with the fact that now you have a lot of mentors. You have Udi explaining what she has done, and I'm also going to be doing that. So you don't really need to wait until the deadline to start putting things together. And actually, even if you are putting in that submission close to the deadline, you actually should have had inspiration and done some work for what you want to submit. Because I remember Udi saying that she already has some information about where she wanted to submit her application. So if those information are not there, you are waiting for the deadline to get those information, you might not be able to put in a good application. So you need to start your works right now. I don't know when your deadline is for this particular cohort, but don't wait until that last day.
It's the 4th of January at 11:59 p.m.
Okay, so that means they still have a couple of days to do some works to get original information about whatever you want to do. So I'll go back to that later. Let me just run through my own application also and put in some words in between reading the application or going through the application. Okay, so I'll start from my biography. So for my biography, I'll just read it out and then I'll explain. So I said I am a renewable energy expert and entrepreneur with 13 years of experience, industry experience. I am the chief operating officer and co-founder of Ashton Solar Company Limited. I am also the convener of Green Tech Girls Summer Bootcamp, a summer bootcamp focused on empowering girls in areas of green technologies, such as renewable energy technology introduction, waste upcycling, clean cooking, energy efficiency, and environmental sustainability. I am the initiator of Solar Queen Technical Training Scholarship, a program focused on empowering women with technical skills that are required to be successful climate ambassadors, solar energy installers, and green entrepreneurs. I have empowered more than 1,500 girls and 173 women through my initiatives. So you can see right now, I've spoken about my expertise, I've spoken about the industry I am, and I've also spoken about my impact in the industry. And I'm also able to give some numbers to the impact in the industry, because numbers are very, very important when you are doing such applications. It shows that you are able to monitor your impact. So monitoring of impact is very, very important. So I'm able to say that I've been able to train this particular number of girls and women through my initiatives. And I also said that I studied regulation for Sustainable Development Goal 7 at the Florence School of Regulation under the Open Africa Power Program 2020 and NL Foundation Scholarship, where I obtained the master level certificates of excellence. I am concluding my PhD research in energy engineering, and I have master's degree in physics and a bachelor degree in physics with solar energy. My company is currently deploying a solar mini grid at an off-grid coastal region, and indicators are showing the project will be successful. My previous ventures have taught me to ensure data-driven projects. So here I've been able to highlight some of my qualities. I was able to say that my previous ventures have taught me to ensure data-driven projects. So that points out that even this particular project is going to be data-driven. Data is very, very important. And then I was able to also show that I have skills in my industry. I think Uduak spoke about Ash saying that she went for this training, and some other trainings. So it is very, very important. I didn't put it that I've done trainings, but I was able to show that I'm doing my PhD in energy engineering. I did physics and solar energy. I got a scholarship to do SDG 7. SDG 7 is also affordable energy. So what I'm actually trying to showcase here is that to show my expertise, to show that, yes, I have a very, very good knowledge of the industry that I am in. Because when you have a good knowledge of what you're doing, then it gives you a better chance to be more successful. Because I'll tell you, any grants at all that you want to get, which includes the USADF, you must be able to show that anything you're doing, you're going to be successful at it. And having knowledge of what you're doing shows that. So that's about my bio. Then I went to the vision statements, and so I was like, the vision is to be a leading solar energy service provider and academy in Nigeria by the year 2030 through offering affordable, quality, professional, renewable energy products and services for urban and rural settlements with an exceptional customer experience. So with the Dream Builders, we're able to put together a vision statement through the Dream Builder training that we did, which I also that you've also gone through that training. So your vision should be very, very precise, and you should just hit it at the nail, hit the nail on top. Simple. And then the next thing was like, we should talk about our history. Why did you begin your enterprise? Now this is where the story now begins. So it says, what has led you to this point in time? Tell us about successes, revenues, and how much has been invested in your company. For startups, what have you accomplished? What steps have you taken to launch? So they've actually given a template that you should follow. So this template is already given. And what I wrote was, I wrote the story of how I got the inspiration to solve energy poverty. So I said, as a young girl, having experienced the loss of a family member due to petrol explosion, I dreamt of eradicating the dependency of Nigeria on fossil fuel and became passionate about alternative energy. With a passion to solve the energy insecurity of Nigeria, I co-founded Ashtem Solar Company Limited, and over the years, I've been involved in renewable energy, off-grid and hybrid systems with innovative projects. The average revenue for the year 2019 to 2020, I stated the revenue there. And I also stated with having a 89.52 increase in revenue. So you can see that I'm not mentioning the exact revenue, but you can see that I was able to state our revenue, which shows that we have financial management in my team. And I was able to also state a percentage increase. Now, even if you don't have an increase in your revenue, what I believe is important here is showcasing that you keep your books, because it is very, very important for us to have our books in order. In the Dream Builder training, we were taught about financial projections, financial management, because it is very, very important in whatever thing you are doing as an entrepreneur. That bookkeeping is very, very important. And in this application and any other application I might be doing in the future, it is important for you to showcase that, yes, you have your records in place. And even if they call you at any time that submit your financial records, your management report tomorrow, you're able to generate it and give it to them. It is very, very important. So then I also said this increase can be attributed to the capacity upskill of Ashton Solar management in entrepreneurship, technical and managerial skills. So this shows that, yes, we are not just dormant, we are improving our skills, which you can actually make reference to AWE, because AWE actually gave us the opportunity to be able to learn all the skills through the trainings and mentorship that we had through AWE. Okay, so then I put in some bullet points. So I was like, in the year 2018, Ashtem Solar installed over 300 kilowatts solar capacity system nationwide. This cuts off about 938 kilograms of CO2 daily emissions from diesel generators, thus reducing global warming to create a healthier green environment. So here I'm talking about numbers of what we've done, and I'm talking about the impact of what those numbers is. So in my own field, we can relate what we are producing or what we are installing to the number of CO2 offsets that is affecting the global climates. So, and then I was able to say that in December 2019, among other installations, Ashtem Solar installed a 6 kilowatt standard off-grid solar carport at Mechanical Engineering Department, University of Ibadan. Here we are showing integrity. So I'm showing that I did this, my organization did this, and we did it at this particular organization. So mentioning this to me, I believe it gives credibility. Remember, I said that not all applications will be the same, but yes, there's going to be some similarities. So credibility is very important. No matter how you want to show your credibility, it is good for you to showcase credibility in your application. So then I also put that I was recognized as one of the foremost women in renewable energy in Nigeria by Environment Africa group in the year 2017. I am a Robert Bosch alumni and Ashoka Changemaker Exchange Fellow. I mentioned some of the fellowships that I've been. I was awarded the Energy Professional of the Year by Nigeria Energy Awards. I was recognized as an energy transition role model for the year 2020 by the Global Women's Network. All of this is just showing credibility of myself and my organization. So I also said my collaborative project named Solar for Girls Nigeria was also nominated as world finalist for the World Energy Globe Award 2017. Now, don't be afraid if you don't have all these awards and recommendations. You can actually showcase what you're doing without award. You can talk about, even if it's a mentorship you are doing within your area. Some of us, we do some things and we don't actually know that it is impact. So you need to think in-depthly very well and show credibility with impacts. It could be maybe in your church or in your mosque or in your street, someone that you are mentoring or something that you've done. I believe that shows credibility, because you have to really show that, yes, you are credible and you are willing, you've been putting in some works and you are willing to put in more work. Please, if you have any question, please be putting it in the chat box. I'm going to be reading through the chat box and once in a while. And please, are you following? I want to be sure that people are following what I'm saying. So please just give me a thumbs up or yes in the chat box, so I know that I'm not speaking to myself. Okay, thank you, everyone. I can see the yeses, the thumbs up. Thank you for that. Okay, so I'll go back to reading through my application. Okay, then I now put that follow the link to view achievements, news feed, and social impact over the years. So I put in a link. I can actually copy it and paste it. I believe it's still functional. Yeah, I think it is. And probably we've updated it from when the application was done by putting a link where they can actually go and view maybe our Facebook, our Twitter, my company's Twitter, my company's Facebook, my Instagram. I believe LinkedIn should also be there. I don't know exactly what is that link right now, but yes, we put in that link so that we don't have to write a lot of stories. And if they want to, they can actually click on that link and view more of our impacts, because that particular question was talking about history and they want to really see the credibility of who you are. So that is for that. So the question C now says that what are or what will be the primary products and services you will provide? So I put it that the primary products and services my organization provides are focused on clean energy solutions, such as solar home systems, solar mini grid development, and renewable energy training services. The primary focus of this grant is to pilot the deployment of solar home system in Akinyele local government area of Oyo State, Nigeria, and also increase awareness of clean energy, energy efficiency, and climate change mitigation within the locality of the project. So that was what we put there. So I was able to highlight some other things my organization does, but then I now put that the primary focus of this particular one is to actually pilot solar home systems in a particular community. So that's for that. And then the next question now says the problem. So now for the problem, you have to actually showcase that you understand your industry, you know the numbers of your industry, and you know how this is going to impact the project you want to do. So I wrote that 93 million people in Nigeria have no access to electricity. 60% of this population are in rural communities and are suffering from energy poverty. So I'm able to showcase that, yes, I've done my research. I know the number of people, the markets that is accessible for me. So that is what that actually says. So these communities are highly disadvantaged and somewhat excluded from the scheme of implementation of federal rural electrification plans. This has led to low productivity for rural communities, usage of unhealthy sources of energy such as kerosene lanterns, high cost of energy assets such as petrol and diesel dependency, poor educational practices, failed health infrastructures, and slow rate of enterprise development, and the poor attraction for support of social businesses from outside the community due to the absence of supportive infrastructure like sustainable power. So now, all what I've said here, what is showcasing is that, yes, I know my numbers, and yes, I know the impact that this problem is having on the community. And this is the problem that this project is going to be solving. So I was able to mention different kind of problems. That's just one problem, not having access to energy poverty is relating to, even in other industries such as health, education. So I was able to mention all of this, low rate of enterprise development. So that is what I was able to showcase here. Then I now went forward and said 239 people in Akinyele, 1,000 somehow. I mentioned the numbers. People in Akinyele local government area are currently living in energy poverty. So now I've brought it from the national problem to the focus area that this project is going to be solving. So from 93 million people in Nigeria to now 239,749 people in Akinyele local government. So this project is to provide access to clean and affordable electricity for 60 households. So now I've said, yes, we have 239,000 people in Akinyele local government, but this fund that we want to get can't solve the problem of this 239. So I was able to now limit it because now we have to be very realistic. So I brought it down that 60 households and businesses in a community in Akinyele local government area of Nigeria who is going to be impacted. This project will have direct impact on 360 individuals and indirectly impact on 1,800 people. We have to be realistic. Yes, 93 million people have problems in Nigeria, energy poverty. But the 10,000 US dollars, I believe it's still 10,000 USD. So the 10,000 USD can't solve problem of the whole 93 million people. So I brought it down to the number of people that this project is going to be solving or having impact on. So now that's the problem. Now, what about the solution? For the solution, I said that this project will run a pilot project of sales of 60 solar home systems in Atonyu community of Akinyele local government area, Oyo State, Nigeria. This pilot will engage 2 local youths or women entrepreneurs as sales force and technical support. Community engagement will be held to sensitize the community about clean energy, climate change, and energy efficiency. This will improve the livelihood of the 60 families, improve the quality of education of about 240 children, reduce their cost on energy, increase climate change mitigation, and clean energy advocacy. The proceeds from the sales of the solar home systems will be used to deploy more solar home systems to other rural communities in Akinyele local government area of Nigeria. So here it also shows sustainability. The business. So that is what I was showcasing here, that the proceeds from the sales, we are going to be putting it back into the business, which shows sustainability. So, and then I was able to also show that, yes, we are going to be impacting people in that local community. We are not just going to be going there to sell. We are also going to be training people in that community. And then we are also going to be employing people in that community to be our sales force and also our technical support in that community. So it's not as if I am coming from my own urban area and going to stay in the rural area, which is not possible in most cases. So it is better for us to have solutions that is centered around the community that we are going to, integrating them into our solution. Just like Udi said, Udi was like, she said she was going to impact people in the community where she's buying the land. And she actually had a lot of big numbers in those communities. But here we are able to say that we are going to be employing 2 people as our sales force in that community because we are selling just 60 solar home systems. And we are going to be using them as also as our technical support. So that is that. And then for the expected outcomes, so we're able to mention some of the numbers that we already stated. We're able to repeat them clearly here in the expected outcome. So we're like 60 households will have access to clean and affordable energy to improve their livelihood and productivity. 240 children will have improved education due to access to clean lighting solutions that will enhance their educational engagement, such as lighting for assignments and studies. 100 community dwellers will be trained on understanding climate change, introduction to renewable energy and energy efficiency. 2 community youth or women entrepreneurs will be trained as sales force and on basic maintenance of solar home systems in order to have local and accessible operations / technical support within the community. So now, for these our expected outcomes, USADF takes it very, very serious. They actually copy it back for you and put it as like your impact, something that you must prove that you've done. So please don't go and state what you are not going to do. State what is visible for you, because they will verify, they do due diligence before and after. After you've gotten the funds, they will come back to you and ask you for the proof of these expected outcomes. And believe me, you can't do mago for this proof. You must show it in pictures. Even sometimes they will even go to the site. Like one of the trainings we did, US Embassy actually came for our community engagements. They came physically for it. So please don't go and lie and put numbers that are not visible for you, because they are going to verify this. They are going to verify this. But be try as much as possible to put good numbers. But remember, numbers that is visible for you and that you are going to do. Don't go and put something that you know that this one you are just lying. Please don't lie for your application. Be very, very authentic. Think of what you want to do. Think ahead, plan ahead, have the right numbers ahead, and do the right thing. Please don't lie there. So okay, then the 6-month plan. So they said I should please provide a work plan for a month-by-month plan for the next 6 months for your business. What do you need to do in the next 6 months to ensure your business is best suited for success? So I put in a solar photovoltaic certification course implementation. So carry out community-wide land survey, taking into consideration distance from off-takers, presence of trees on the land. I think this wasn't what I submitted, was it? Okay, so for this one, I actually put in for my organization, but later on came back and asked for this project. So I don't know, I don't know, maybe yes. I believe what they should put is for the project, because I actually put in this one is for my organization, because the question was actually, what do you need to do in the next 6 months to ensure your business is best suited? Mm-hmm. So this work plan was actually for my organization, but later on they came back and they asked for the project precisely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so everyone, I've told everyone from the beginning that this is for their business, it's for the growth of their businesses, and that's what it should be. So everyone understands that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this was for my business, so I'll read it out, but later on they came back and asked for the project, which I now sent another one for them for the project precisely. So just have that at the back of your mind that they might come back to ask for the project's work plan. Okay, so I said that I wanted to carry out community-wide land survey, taking into consideration distance from off-takers, presence of trees on land steepness, sun direction, building or tree shadows over the land, communal boundary, disputed land, etc., negotiate land acquisition with community aid and relevant authorities. So now this is not project specific, it is specific to my organization. So implementation of solar mini-grid development at Ajemitale. So I also said we're going to be having meetings with youth groups, village aid, chiefs, religious leaders, men and women of communities. So now this is for another particular project that we already had in our pipeline, which was ongoing at that time. So another one said we are going to have community stakeholder in Atoyin-Wishola. So now this one is for the community where we want to deploy that particular project. So Atoyin-Wishola and baseline survey of community. So we wanted to do the baseline survey of that community. And for the activities that we're going to be doing, I said we're going to be having meetings with youths, groups, village head and chiefs, religious leaders, men and women of the communities. For Atoyin-Wishola specifically, which was where we did in Akinyele, which was where we did this particular project. Then I also said procurement of solar home systems. And for that, so we said that we were going to be reviewing quotations for solar home systems and comparing to current market price, selecting the best vendors and procurement and delivery of equipment to sites. So the next, they said, we put sales force and maintenance training for solar home system projects. So here we said we're going to be selecting 2 women for training on the operation, sales and maintenance of solar home systems. Then preparation of monitoring reports, that's for month 6. And this says assess the results and lessons learned from the execution of current projects, conduct a preliminary market analysis, including the potential for project expansion in the target community, and also replication of this project in other off-grid communities. Develop indicators in order to track the financial and non-financial benefits to the beneficiary community members. Prepare a detailed financial analysis of the project, including profits margin, pessimistic, optimistic, and break-even scenarios, and estimated time required to repay debts and recoup investments. So this was what we focused on for the work plan. And this is not just for this project, it is actually for my organization for the next 6 months of my organization. So that was the work plan I submitted. And then here they asked for the employees and beneficiaries. So I was able to state number of paid employees, number of non-paid employees in my organization at that time, and customers to date. I put not applicable, number of customers of beneficiary is not applicable here right then. And then target customer. So our target customer was both urban and peri-urban, sorry, rural and peri-urban. And that was what was selected. And then the ownership structure of my organization was put in, and current financial situation. Yes, so this current financial situation, you have to put the right information, because USADF actually comes back and, well, in my own situation, I don't know, maybe it happened to others, but they come back and ask for financial statements. So they actually add our previous financial statement in their records because we've gotten some grants from them before, but they came back and asked for an updated one. And whatever we put in these must match what was in our audited financial statements. So I was able to put in the account receivable, current assets, long-term assets, and all this information also shows that, yes, you have your records intact and your financial management is also good. And then for the loan, so we were able to state the kind of loan that we had in our organization. So at that time, we had a convertible loan of about 50,000 USD. And then we also had a short-term loan of about 1,000 USD. So they actually came back and asked for a proof of these debts and of a letter that this the grant is not going to be used to offset the debts. So at that time, the short-term debt was actually paid, but then the long-term debt wasn't paid. And we had to show them that, yes, this long-term debt is from a reputable organization, which they actually also know about this organization, and that we are not going to be using it as using their funds to pay that debt. So if you don't have a debt, that's good. But if you have a debt, you must be able to showcase that you're not going to be using their grant to pay the debt. And So list all sources, amounts, and dates of any donor, government, or the other outside funding. So we've been able to get 25,000 USD from USADF before. So we put it there that we've been awarded, but funds are yet to be disbursed. So that's another thing with USADF. Don't expect that they will select you and you get your funds disbursed immediately. So we put it there that yes, we'll be awarded because we've gotten the award letter, but we've not gotten the funds yet. And then we've also gotten another 25,000 USD from an organization that is called All On. We also put that there, but the funds have not yet been disbursed to at the time of the application. And then we've also gotten the debt of the 50,000 USD. So we put it there that yes, we've gotten a convertible debt of 50,000 USD and funds has been disbursed for that. So we've gotten the funds for that particular one at that time. So yeah, so that is the end of the application. And I hope you'll be able to gain one or two things from me reading out my application. And I'll be glad to answer some questions.
Yeah, I knew Gloria would have questions because you're in the same industry. Thank you so much, Dami. This was really, really good. Thank you. And it's good to hear from someone in another sector as well. So thank you very much. Please, if you have questions, raise your hands. Gloria, please go on. I've asked you to unmute.
Okay. Thank you so much once again for doing this. Really
It's this Gloria, not the other. Okay. Gloria, go on.
Yes, it's me. Please, you did mention that there was you trained the youths. You also provided the solar system for the community. The solar system sold to the community members? Did you sell to them?
Yeah, we sold because you have to actually show sustainability. So our own form of showing sustainability was to sell and recover the funds, and then that fund is being put back into the business. So it wasn't as if I don't think we should dash anybody anything. No. For any project, you must actually be sustainable. So if you're going to be giving some free things like trainings and or whatever you want to do, but please, you have to be sustainable. And if you are giving your products free of charge, that doesn't show sustainability. So we sold the products and we put it there that we're going to be selling the products.
Okay.
But then it was actually sold as a pay-as-you-go solution. Well, some as pay-as-you-go solution and some as upfront payments.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Gloria. Any other person with any other question? Because I know the session is quite detailed. I think we have clarity as to what we need to do. Any other question? I'm going, you people, if you don't ask now, don't come and ask me later. Or maybe this is a sign that we've done a very, very good job on explaining. How do I get your contact? I need to talk to you about solar. Okay, they're asking.
I'll just be right here.
Okay. I think we're actually good. We're very clear because it's been broken down properly. I think we're good. So we can go now, yeah? Everyone, no other question. Please, if you have any question, write it now within 20 seconds so we can answer. Otherwise, I think we're good. Can you get the recording? Yes, you can get the recording to go through everything. Yes, absolutely. Once I stop now, I would upload it so that we'll send the recording through. Otherwise, thank you so much, Dami, for always answering. This is like your second or third one that you're doing, and you're training us, and it's always very detailed and and everything. And you still owe us a session. Remember the last
Yes.
People in tech, please hold her. She still owes us. This woman collects all the grants in the world and all the opportunities in the world. she's always on one program or the other program, and if there's anyone who's really good at, you know, being consistent at it, she's
especially if you're in renewable energy, please. There are a lot of funds in the renewable energy now, and I want more AWE women to get those funds. I will, please, you need to set up that, because
set up that call as well. Yeah,
I think we should set it up during these holidays before all of us get more busy.
I know.
Because there's a lot of grants in renewable energy industry now, and I want the AWE to also get access to this.
I'll reach out to the community, because we were trying to set up one before, but I would reach